Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at, the performance of the LR Fusion Zamasu into the Cell Max event. Now, full disclaimer as always with the Cell Max event, guys, it's an event that's best taken on with guard, with damage reduction, with evasion. It's really the best way to take it on. So to be honest with you, you do need to consider those things. Now Zamasu does have two of those things, because he has guard technically, because he's an INT type unit, and he has damage reduction. He has 20% base and he has 10%. We'll talk through his passive just now. We are looking at a 55% Zamasu. So Zamasu is a unit that will benefit a lot from additional dupes. So units that have these kind of lower levels of damage reduction, generally speaking, do better with a couple dupes. And the reason is because they do low levels of damage reduction, kind of just takes the big sting off of an attack. They don't really kind of, push you to a new kind of level of defensive reduction. You usually need, I would say, probably 40% is where damage reduction starts to be more notable than the how can I say, defense that the unit would need to have. So for me, honestly speaking, I think the units that have this 20% kind of damage reduction need to have dupes, realistically speaking. Now, so for me, Zamasu is in that bracket. At 55%, he's not really super duper effective in terms of being an outright tank in the first slot before he supers. But after he supers, he looks really, really solid. And you're going to see him look really, really solid. So, Zamasu, to be blunt, does great after his super. And the reason being, we'll talk about it, but he's got attack and defense of 100%. He gains 50% on super, which is very important. It affects his stats quite substantially, makes him much tankier. But also, if he gets his 18 key, and if he gets his 24 key, he's attack effective against all types. He kind of has that anyway, being int, so that's not too important against the tech Cell Max. But he has a guaranteed super attack. And that guaranteed super attack is very big for his defense. Zamasu greatly raises attack and defense on his super attacks. So on his 12 key and on his 18 key, he greatly raises attack and defense. This is pretty big. It's, I don't want to say huge in the sense of it's how can I say, it's like going to make him absolutely insane, but it actually does do a very, very, very big job in making him look a lot better. So after super, Zamasu is a fantastic tank. Even at 55%, Zamasu is a fantastic tank in the Cell Max event. After super, you'll see how much damage he takes, but he really doesn't take that much damage at all. Now, traditionally, obviously, we look for front slot tanks. We all want, tanks that are the best in the first slot, because that's always the biggest risk, getting supered before anyone else can kind of boost themselves. But to be honest with you, a Zamasu that's Rainbow could possibly do that for you. He could probably tank at level 10 links with, maybe not Rainbow, maybe just with the first dupe alone. Level 10 links, Zamasu probably does a decent job in terms of just basically tanking. He will do decent damage as well. Because of all the guaranteed extra supers, because of things like that, he'll be fine with, doing damage. I think personally, Zamasu is really good for the Cell Max event. I think Zamasu is a good unit in general. I think he's really good. He is decent enough at 55% that he will do a great job for you. The only thing is, obviously a big portion of that is because he is in type as well. So it's not just because Zamasu is, incredibly good. He is good, but it is also because he is in type. So he does have a natural, additional kind of factor playing into things. So yeah, it is super important to just remember that. Being in type does inherently give you an advantage in the Cell Max event, so being that typing is obviously super important to how well you do in this event. But Zamasu's overall build is good for this type of event. You will need dupes if you want them to kind of sit in that first slot, but if you're just looking, I'm looking for a guy to tank super well as a floater and as a secondary unit or as a second slot unit, then you're fine. Zamasu is going to be more than fine, and he handles the physical stage also fine. He gains 2% damage reduction for every attack he receives, so it is pretty good that he can kind of build up on those stacks, and yeah, just basically if he can take a couple of hits, he will eventually reduce the damage of each secondary one, which is good, and he can also heal as well, which is also helpful. So here you can see we are taking on the Tech Cell Max. We're going to skip this turn using the very nifty ability of the Android 17 and 18, which is always something that's, I think, or at least for me, I personally appreciate a hell of a lot. That ability to just skip a turn. It's very crucial in certain Cell Max runs, so that is super duper helpful. But yeah, overall, like I said, he's good. He's good. I don't think even without the type, look, the type advantage helps. I don't want to say it doesn't, but I think he's good. I think he is solid. His build is nice. Definitely an after super unit, but overall very, very solid. Now obviously you can't stun with his super attack, which is where I would have preferred it to be an interrupt. But yeah, his ult active skill, does stun, which is helpful, but just not here. But it still does damage, which is good. So yeah, overall some pretty good stuff. Obviously, you're going to see him tank pretty well here, I think. You don't need a rocket scientist to tell you that. Good damage as well. No big bad boss is active due to the health, so that will affect the tanking ability a little bit. Like I said, getting big bad bosses will help elevate him to another level. And yeah, you can see here, follow up super, 50k, 45k, more than fine. It's not like he's taking no damage, of course, but remember, no big bad boss is active, which is very important. And yeah, he's only 55%, so if you have a dupe in this guy and you link level him, you're basically good to go. So I think you saw everything you need. I'm not going to do any more runs with him, I'll be honest. I think he's shown everything he needs. He tanks more than fine at 55%. He'll be a decent damage dealer because of his in typing as well. But yeah, that's it from me. Bye.